Hey guys, this is Panda in response to Cody's video. Now, firstly, my kind of response to Cody is that he said basically the government should only comprise of courts, military, and police, and that to buy into this would be completely voluntary. Now, the question I have for Cody is that, well, if I decide not to buy into this system of courts, military, and police, do I still have to respect the rights of people who are in that system, and do I myself have rights? Because the problem I have is that if I don't buy into that system, I am separate from the US government. So if I own land, that's not the US government's territory, or any government's territory that has the system of user fees. So the end result of this is that I don't have to respect people in your government's rights, and they can't come onto my land. So essentially I can kill whoever I want. I can murder whoever I want, I can rape whoever I want, because I do not have to respect rights in the government. So if you're going to say that I have to respect the rights, well then you are basically infringing on my choice to be separate from your government. Now your military and police can come after me, but that's after what's said and done. And you can't come onto my land, or else you're infringing on my rights to not buy into your system. Furthermore, in this system, obviously there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to pay taxes and maybe want to just not be in the US government because they can get a better service in terms of military and police protection through private companies. Obviously, the richer you are, the more able you'll be to buy into these systems. So, what happens if these private militaries really take off? I mean, what if these private militaries get bigger than the US government? I mean, you have a huge problem in your hands, because then the US government could quite easily be taken over or go to war with these private companies. Or at the same time, if not enough people buy in, the US government could essentially become irrelevant. So the end result here is going to be private companies that own courts, militaries, and police. And of course, if there's many of these, then we're going to have a very fractured kind of system here, where if I'm in one kind of territory of a company and someone else lives in another territory of a company, and I end up killing that person, or they kill me, what happens? Because obviously there are going to be different rights, different policies, and different systems going about, how would you put it, arresting and prosecuting that person. So that's my questions to you, which is, if it was to TLDR, basically, what do I have to respect the rights, and do I have rights if I don't buy into the US government system? And what happens if private companies essentially become larger than the US government? Now, what I'm also going to go over briefly is that you said the tax rate would be 3 to 5%. Well, if you look at the US government's budget, at least the federal budget, 23%, I'll put a link up to that way or that way. Basically, the US government's expenditure is, the US federal spending is 22% goes to defense. So essentially any tax you pay federally are going to be quartered, or cut to a quarter. Now, the end result of this is that whatever tax you're paying, obviously, it's not going to be 3 to 5%. It's going to be largely depending on the state you live in. But to say, it's going to be much cheaper or going to be much less taxes is going, you have to just look at the statistics. And obviously, if you live in a higher tax state, you're going to pay a lot more taxes. And maybe some governments, or maybe state governments, will decide to spend more on defence because they can, and they don't have any of the burdens of Medicaid, Medicare, whatever. So those are basically my 2 cents on your video, that the problems I have with it, and just my thoughts on it. Thanks.